Hello, I'm Jerry Wiles with Living Water International. I've been asked to give a brief overview of the particular model that we're doing in our Great Commission orality strategies, making disciples of oral learners, sharing the gospel through stories and questions. We have now trained more than 2,500 people in 13 countries over the past 18 months. So what we're doing is a basic, what we call a jump start approach. We teach them a little, that they practice a lot, they implement immediately. So we call this Orality Training Workshop, and it is an introduction to contextual Bible story. The reason we call it an introduction to contextual Bible story, because it's an introduction. It's just a sample. It's just to get people on the road, get them on the journey of using stories and questions to share the gospel and to get people involved with a relationship with Jesus. Now, some of the questions we would ask, for example, in going to areas where there's unreached and unengaged people groups, is begin to ask the questions: how much does a person need to know to come to a living relationship with the living Christ? How much do they need to know to be a reproducing follower of Jesus? When we answer those questions, we've got something that's transferable to the ends of the earth. Now, if we take the Great Commission seriously, about taking the gospel to the ends of the earth, making disciples of all people groups, we have to determine what do they need to know and what's the best delivery system. And if it involves technology or printed material or literate style of learning, it's going to be limited, because the 4.35 billion people on the planet be considered oral preference learners, those who can't, don't, or won't read, or prefer to learn or communicate by means other than the written form or literate style communications. So this is a streamlined, simplified approach. When we do our training, there's a lot of repetition, there's discussion questions, and we explain the difference in the story and the questions and the dialogue and the explanation about the story. So we focus on learning the story, and we want to make sure that it's biblical, that it's understandable, and that it's reproducible. And the key is keeping it simple and reproducible. And we're finding that people will retell the stories, people come to Christ, learn the stories, they retell the stories, and other people in the communities are coming to Christ. So it's an incredible opportunity. We do have some training opportunities coming up. If you want to visit our website, it's water.cc/orality. That's www.water.cc/orality. That's ORALITY. And then also there's a book that's been published. Whitaker House has released a book that I've authored called No Greater Joy. It is, the subtitle is Power of Sharing Your Faith Through Stories and Questions. It's about personal evangelism and sharing Christ and a lot of other things related to that. But it's also, there's 2 chapters that deal with the particular program that we're doing right now, the 5-story approach. So the text of the stories are there, the questions are there, the explanation of the process, and some tips on how to learn the stories and how to think like an oral learner. So the big challenge is getting literate learners to become effective oral communicators. But we're seeing that happen, and we're getting lots of feedback. One man said, this model, this strategy has revolutionized the way I share the gospel. Another man said, in an East African country, said, we've tried everything we know, but we believe this strategy is what we need. In many countries, 80 to 90% of the people would be considered oral learners. So it really is appropriate. We want to make sure that we keep the stories biblical and that we make it simple and reproducible. And we're seeing that happen wherever we go in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. So check out the website, get a copy of the book, and join the journey.